Hi everyone, it's Neve here and welcome to my art journaling page. Today we are going to be combining styles, lots of different styles on one particular page. So I just took a fancy to trying everything on this page really. I had no real rhyme or reason apart from the fact that I wanted to do some cutting, I wanted to do some mark making. I had time to spare. I think I was on holidays when I was doing this, and the kids were in holiday care, so I was like, oh, let's see what we can do. The first thing I did was cut a window. So this is straight into my little journal, and I've just cut a window and then put some patterned transparency behind it. Then I decided that I wanted to hand letter a quote onto my page, and I was going to cut that out too, so that was also going to be lace cut out. So obviously I don't mind cutting stuff out by hand. You may prefer just to write that onto the page and not cut it out, but it is fun. Usually if you write in block letters, you're doing lots of small little cuts. Now I'm being a little bit naughty. When you are cutting, you really shouldn't rotate your wrist like you can see me doing. You should be moving your page rather than moving your wrist, which I've just done there. So just be aware, go slow. Make sure you're using a sharp knife, and make sure you might change your blade before you start cutting. If you aren't confident at hand lettering out your quote, you could also use sort of a stamped image and then cut out around the stamped image. So there's lots of block stamped images that you can use. This is the Dylusions ledger journal. It's got all sorts of different printed pages in it, so it does have a grid page in it. So another helpful hint is if you didn't want to freehand it, use a grid to help you make sure everything's sort of evenly spaced and the same size and so on. So there's lots of ways to get around it, but if you've never tried cutting out something on your page, I would highly suggest you have a go, because it is fun. It's nice to see what peeks through from the other side in different ways, and it makes a great focal point on your page. So what we see depends mainly on what we look at. Look for, sorry. Yeah. So you can see I use that red cutting mat. I use it for two reasons. One, because it's quite thin, so it works really well for me. It sits in my journal. It doesn't take away from the edge when I'm trying to cut. But the other reason is because it's got such a strong colour on it, it makes it really easy when I'm cutting to see what I'm cutting out. So I would highly suggest, if you are cutting, to have something contrasting underneath that will help you see what you're doing. So I sort of had this bright idea stuck down my page, and then thought, oh no, I actually want to paint that. So I did peel off my transparency because I just did not fancy. It was easier to put more tape on than it was to try and make sure I didn't get paint on my transparency. I think I also painted, no, I didn't. Usually I will paint the back of my pages too, because you can see I get a little bit messy, and now you have to see me take the lining off the tape as well. I really suck at doing that. I have to get my knife out. It's a whole disaster. So now I've got my transparency I can stick back on again. So you can see here that I really don't think things through before I do it, otherwise I would have a definite plan of what I was doing. Because I wanted something nice and bright to contrast the black, I'm going in with how I usually create my backgrounds, just putting splodges of paint down and spreading it out, usually in three places, so get some of those visual triangles happening. I wanted to have really bright colours on this page, so I specifically sort of looked for those rainbowy type colours, and you can see I'm sort of overlapping to see where things fit in. So if you put a few extra splodges to fill it all up, that's fine, but you can sort of see that beautiful rainbow happening now. I then decided, or quite often when I do this and have these patchy bits on my backgrounds, I like to kind of blend them together in some way, and using white over the top is a really good idea. Even if it's really pale like I've just done, it sort of helps bring your eye across the page a little bit more, and tie it all together. So it's not separate blocks per se, but it's sort of deliberately there. Same with my stamping or any mark making I do over the top. I make sure it doesn't, it flows over all the areas. It doesn't just stay, you know, those pink crosses don't just stay in the blue sections, or the yellow dots don't stay in the green sections. They sort of flow across a few different colors, and that sort of helps your eye get led across the page. Going back in with some more stronger white as well gives some resting points. So just a really, really quick, simple mark making page. And this is what I'm talking about, style. So you've got a lace cut page in the front, you've got this sort of randomish mark making page here, and then I decided I wanted some collage. So I went through my Dylusions collage bits and pieces to cut out a figure. I wanted to make a figure focal point for the first page. So if you haven't come across these before, these are the Dylusions collage sheets. It's basically magazine collage that she's put into her journals and just cut out and printed. I really like them because they're quirky, they appeal to me, but they're a good starting point too. So you can certainly add to them, you can change the colours, you can go nuts with them. So you can see me here creating my little doll. I'm trying to use colours that I used in the background. So you can sort of see I chose the yellow, I chose the blues, because those are sort of colours I had in the background as well. I'm also using some bits from some stamped images that I just stamped onto white cardboard. So I've added in the eyes and the little feathers in the head. You can see I tried putting on the mark making to put behind that little window, but I decided I want to put it on the front as well. When I do collages like this, and with all my magazine collages, I do go over with sort of either a black or a white pen to highlight around all the lines. Now it seems a bit redundant, but as you can see on this page, and certainly you will in the close-up, when you have printed images, particularly if they've been commercially produced, you're never going to get a true black, especially on a matte paper like this. It's always going to be sort of like a dark grey colour. So adding that little pop of black on it just makes a huge difference to highlighting the edges and making it really pop out. The other thing about this is with these images, obviously they're the colours that Diane Reevely did for her journals and her pages. You can change the colours. So if you've got a paint pen, or if you've got paints or Copic markers, whatever, and you know it's not the colour that you want, or you need a particular colour to add onto your page, go over and change it. So it's, you know, you don't have to keep it the way it was. You can add to it. That's the whole point about these things. They're a tool to help us add to our work. Just to help pop out the letters from the background a little bit, I'm going around with my white pen just to help highlight a little bit. Also doing a very, very wiggly line around my border there. And you can sort of see, and this page proves the point, if I tried to draw a straight line, first of all you saw I had that big wiggle, it really stood out. Then I went around twice and it now looks like I did it deliberately. So doing things more than once really, really helps. So now I've got my page and my background, but I did want the second page kind of standalone as well. So I'm looking through my Art by Marlene quote stickers. I found this one, Be Bold. So I've put it deliberately so it's hidden behind the doll. It doesn't take away from, oh, I did go back and paint that. It's hidden behind the doll, so you won't see it through the window, but it's still there when you turn over to the next page. You can see by painting that image black, the background black, it just finishes off. It looked messy beforehand, but now it sort of looks you know, more coherent. Where I accidentally painted over things, I'm just going back over with my white pen. You can see why I would suggest painting it first rather than painting afterwards, because you have to go back and fix stuff up. But you know, that's the way things are. So this is the final page. You can see lots of different styles, a bit of diary Reevely, a bit of lace cut page, a bit of mark making, all mixed together, all a bit crazy, but it's how it all works in the end. So this is close up of the mark making page. You can see how those marks sort of blend over different areas. This is the lace cut page. You can see my wonky lines there, how the letters look, and so you can see what's peeping through from behind. This is the whole page as it was finished. So I'm looking forward to seeing if you have a go. Please tag me and show me what you've been up to too. I'd love to see how you combine styles in your journal. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye for now.